Grazie. Unless it's not working. Got it. Put that there. Oh, there is a mess. Okay. Put that there. There is a mess. All right. Well, let me see. Okay. All right. I don't know if that's frozen over there. Staying mute, staying live, staying mute. I'm mute. All right. This is not working. Right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world today. As we are trying to get started here this morning, it is now 12:02. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Moderation activity is not adding this, those messages. Okay, got it. Okay. What am I trying to do here? I want to do something. I don't know if it's frozen over here or what's going on. All right. Let's just begin and get started there. How about that? Let's try that. All right. Well, let's start again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world today. I am Tia Rogers, the Take Care of Your Health, Save, Invest, and Grow Your Money Business Startup Mentor. And today we're coming together to get to know each other a little better, as well as go back and review a little bit of what we've been doing. But first, let me just say this. Let's give praises and honor to God for waking us up this morning in our right minds and able body to get up and do what we do every day. I'll give you a little background about who I am. Tia Tamise Rogers. Yes, Tia Tamise Rogers, ladies and gentlemen. Born and raised in Camden, New Jersey. As I was growing up, I was raised by my two parents, professional parents, educators, social workers type field, so which probably gives an idea of why I do what I do, right? We help people. So I was raised in that type of environment. Um, Something you probably don't know about me is that I was very sheltered as a child. So I didn't, my whereabouts, what I did and where I hung and people I hung with were always chosen and had to be approved by my parents. We weren't allowed to just go anywhere. I remember going, as I was growing up, life wasn't bad. I really thought I was rich until senior year when I did not get the car with the bow on it that I thought I was going to get. Why I thought that, nobody discussed the car with me, but I didn't even have a license. So, well, yeah, I got my license the year after I graduated, but we have our own perceptions of our life, right? And as life goes on, I became a young mother early. I was a young teen mom, fresh out of high school, graduated, bam, got pregnant with my first child. By the time I got pregnant with the second child, I was married. So when I got pregnant with the first child, my father told me that all I had to worry about was getting my finances together. Having this baby with the gentleman, that wasn't a factor, because just because I was having a baby didn't mean my life had to stop. And I could achieve anything that I wanted to achieve if I got my money right. And then I could have anything that I wanted. And just because I grew up in Camden City doesn't mean that I had to be a part of Camden City. I didn't quite understand that coming up because I'm like, what do you mean by that? But over time, and if you see, being observant, especially when you're not allowed to go out, hang out with your friends, hang in the mall, and do little social things that most adolescent children do. My dad was not playing that. My dad comes from the background of human services, probation, corrections. So no, the girls was not playing that. Not on Limbs Watch, you're not. So because of that, I had to observe a lot of my surroundings. It helps me to become a critical thinker in the sense, if I was going to do something, knowing that there's consequences when you break the rules or you go against what the structure is for you, there's consequences. So, and knowing that there's consequences, I would choose wisely. I would choose very wisely as to what are the things that I would be doing with my life, even down to getting pregnant, which I was terrified of being pregnant. Fresh out of high school, the plan was to go to nursing school, graduate, come out with the LPN, not a baby. I went to nursing school, but I didn't graduate and I came home with a baby. So that changed the scheme of my life, that now made me responsible for someone that didn't ask to be here. Pretty much my actions and behaviors, things that I did brought about being pregnant. So being a young mom, you already know that there's challenges. And if you follow me and you've watched some of my YouTubes, you see that I'm telling you my story of, the challenges. How much money do you actually really need to have a baby? And what does it really all take? And how much money do you need to continue to not only take care of the child, raise the child, take those steps for preventative measures should your child be an at-risk child? And we're going to discuss about at risk and what it all means, as well as, what was my life plan? What was my life plan? I lived at home with my mom and dad. Didn't really care for all the control that mom had over my life, as far as, what I was going to be doing, when I was going to be doing it, and how I was going to be doing it. Even down to going to work, selecting my work hours. I had to work around the children's hours of once I finally got them in daycare. Now, prior to, I had to pay babysitting. So I had a babysitting cost. And because I had a baby at home, now I have a rent cost. I have to contribute to the household, my rent to stay, as well as food, to provide food for not only myself, but provide food for my child. My mother did all the grocery shopping. So she was, of course, the banker in the family. So she took care of all of that. And I'm so grateful now that I look at the scheme of things, now that I have grown, gone through some experiences and learned about life and face some challenges. Because when you're a young mom and you at home with your parents, you may not like their rules. You may not like what they have in place, but if you don't have anything in place for yourself, no guaranteed foundation of a plan as to how you're going to move forward in your life. One thing and foremost is you're going to need some loot. You're going to need some money to be able to do some things. You have to look around and check out, are you going to be able to move out from home? And if you move out from home, are you moving into a house or are you going to be renting? Most young people, when you move out, for my story, it was renting. I rented from my grandmother. I was blessed to have a grandmom that owned some property, and she broke the property down into little, like 3 studio apartments. So I was blessed in that sense. Not everybody is blessed in that sense. However, being a young mom, newly married, and not really having those hard conversations, I like to say, the conversations we probably should have had before we even made the baby, but nonetheless, it comes down to the point where you have to have these conversations. How are you going to provide? How is the rent going to get paid? How is the bills going to be paid? Who's going to take care of the children? Should we have to work? And how do you work all of that out? Unfortunately, it didn't work out too well that way. We could not agree on, we had different perspectives. I'm not going to say we couldn't agree. We had different perspectives as to what our rules were. Given the fact that we were young, fresh out of high school, we didn't really know what the rules were. We were only following the rules of the guardians that parented us. And I came from a 2-parent home. He came from a 2-parent home, but they were separated. So, there's different dynamics in that. However, he was still around. He knew who his father was. So, in those growth spurts and the failure to have these conversations led to a lot of financial ups and downs. And when I say financial ups and downs, I mean the ability and availability to be able to go to work, to take care of the children, coming up with a schedule that actually fit us. And we couldn't really get a handle on that because we had different perspectives of what our life should be, what our life looked like, and how we determined it was going to be over time, given the fact that we now have these 2 children to raise. So long story short, over my journey, I struggled. So I had to make a decision to decide whether or not I was going to stay in that relationship, stay in a marriage. So it took some time, but eventually I got out of the marriage. Getting out of the marriage means that now I'm the sole provider of these children, and providing for these children is going to require what? Moolah to do so. So now I have to look back at my skills. What skills did I acquire? Fresh out of high school. So thank God for co-op, because co-op gave me a skill that I could use for the rest of my life. We had certified nurses aid training. So I was already certified since a junior in high school. And then once I was able to work, I went to work. I was able to work the 7 to 3 shift. However, there still was the issue of babysitting. Babysitting is a challenge when you don't have a steady, reliable, dependable babysitter. So we kind of bounced around a lot, and I was blessed to have family support, to have my aunts and uncles the kids' grandparents, as well as their godparents, who all try to pitch in and help. But when we're young, we tend to act and behave in ways that we think that we know that what we're doing, and we really don't. And when you do that, people that are helping you tend to get frustrated. They tend to kind of, so to speak, let you go and swim on your own and figure the stuff out. So in the interim, although I had the support, I still had to figure things out. I had to figure out how I was going to get consistent and work. How was I going to get them in childcare consistently? And then all these ramifications, where are we going to live, right? So along the process, getting the job, trying to figure out where we're going. When you don't have a sitter, what do? You can't work the job. So then it goes back to TANF. You go back to the Board of Social Services, you fill out the application, you get your medical, your food stamps, and your cash that you are going to have to take care of your kid. Now, at that time, it was only $322. You're not renting anywhere for $322. Nowhere are you going to be renting for $322. So it makes it very hard to find housing. On top of the fact that housing is already an issue all over in the area where I lived. So as I began mapping my life out, going through Board of Social Services, they offer you get offered the different possibilities of things that you could do. You could go through their workforce programs and become trained, or you could decide to pick a curriculum and go to community college. I chose to go to community college while I was raising my children. So I went to community college. Does not exclude the fact that you still have rent, that you still have childcare, that you still have to feed and clothe these kids, right? Okay, so you're working on a fixed income, you're working on educating yourself, trying to become better, still facing life challenges. So at some point, you have to become clear. And this is why we take you back to the values, because no matter what it is that you're doing in life, no matter what it is that you're going through in life, because we all gonna go through something. Life happens on life terms. I don't give a hootie who you are. Trust me, life is going to happen to you, and how you respond to life is going to make all the difference in how you get through the storms in life, because storms come, they don't last always, but you have to have a firm foundation. You have to know what it is that you're going for. Some of us have glamorous, grandiose ideas of our life. And if you do, have you mapped out the steps in which it's going to take for you to build those grandiose ideas and move towards where it is that you want to be in your life, right? We ask you to go to drjohndmartinis.com website to take the values determination process. Why do we do that? Because as we are building our business and we are looking for quality people, we're looking for people that are ready to put themselves in position to win in life as well as business. Now, is everybody a business person? No, not really, but you still want to win in life. You don't necessarily have to go the full-fledged mile of becoming a business person, but there's advantages to becoming a business person, which we'll talk about as we come together and we become more infused as to what it is that we're doing, right? So when you're looking at your values, we're looking at how do you fill your primary personal and professional space? What is filled in there the most? As you see, there's always a whiteboard in mine. It's a whiteboard, it's books, we have all kinds of things here that I surround myself with because I'm always constantly learning. And sometimes I have to relearn some of the things that I once learned, because over time things change. And things are changing rapidly, if you guys have not noticed. So we're asking you to answer the 13 questions. What do you fill your personal space with most? How do you spend your time, first, second, and third, when you first wake up? When I first wake up, the first thing I do is thank God for waking me up. and giving me breath in my body. Then I'd have a little moment where I kind of gather and get everything all together as far as what I want to do for my day, make sure that that's in place. Then I'll take a shower. And sometimes this is in reverse, sometimes, but most times I take it, write out my plans for the day, what it is that I want to expedite. And as I expedite my plans for that day, taking a shower, personal hygiene is important to get on top of that, and get ready and perform for my day. Then after that, there's usually an accountability call. I have to get on accountability call to kind of build my strength, and gain guidance as well as input some of my own ideas into our accountability group as we are moving forward, and we're coming closer to January 2024, and where our mission is to help 84 million individuals, families, to become financially sustainable, so that we can kind of get rid of some of the disparities. Now, are we going to get rid of all the disparities? I don't know, because some disparities, the injustice in economics, which I shared with you, just briefly some of it, and I hope you guys picked it up, the Powernomics books by Dr. Claude Anderson. And there's more, also one by Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I think it's called Black American Dollars, but I will reconfirm that for you. But Dr. Boyce Watkins also writes books dealing with economics. And when you hear me speak, you hear me talk about economics a lot, because economics impacts my life a lot. If I didn't work, I couldn't feed my family. If I did not take the time to, get the education that I needed to find out exactly where it was that I wanted to be. And in making these decisions, it's all a part what you do in your daily routine. First of all, it's what you think in your mind. But how do you perceive your life? Is the glass half empty, half full, or is it refillable? So as you're looking at that, and we're looking at how do we, what's in our space, how do we spend our time, how do we spend our energy most, and what energizes us, right? We're looking at how do you spend your money most, and where are you organized and ordered most? Where are you most reliable, disciplined, and focused? What do you inwardly think about most? What do you visualize and realize most? What do you internally dialogue with yourself about most? And what do you most talk about to others in social settings, right? And what inspires you most? What are your most consistent long-term goals that are coming true? And what do you love learning, reading, studying, or listening about most? So as you answer these questions and you go through it, you're going to end up with like 39 values on your list once you complete those questions. Now, the reason why we ask you that is because, let me see if I can pull this over a little bit. Pull it this way. Forgive me one little minute here. We're going to sit this here. Let me put this like this there. See if you can see. I think you can. Oh, yeah. Hold on. All right. Hold on one moment. Not quite ready. Okay. All right, I'm back. Thank you. And I apologize for the pause, but I'm in the middle of baking birthday cakes today. We got a lot of birthdays in October and a few today. So I'm making some cakes. So for those. All right. So as we're looking at our 13 value questions, and wait a minute, I'm trying to make sure. Okay, yeah. We're looking at our 13 value questions. We want to make sure this process is going to help us to gain clarity of our purpose in our life. This way, because I don't know, you guys can't see me that much. Okay, so we're gaining clarity of our purpose. Do you have a clear purpose for your life? You wake up every day, you get up and you do the things that you do. Now, are these things that you're doing, are they something that is aligning you towards your future? Or is it, or you just living day by day, living it as it comes? Having clarity of purpose is going to, look, I'm gonna sit it like this, so maybe I can see a little better. Hold on, I know I'm all over the place this morning. My apologies to you all, but I'm grateful that you're here and your time is very valuable. Okay, so clarity of purpose. Clarity defines the purpose and the goals of, to make sure that everyone involved understands their roles and responsibilities, right? So if you're born in a family, I shared with you my story of how I came up being a young mom, still living at home, wanting to move out, not really having the resources or pretty much the accessibility to be able to do so. And it was challenging doing that. And as a family, we had a clear purpose. Everyone inside the family helps. Nobody is going to sit back and do nothing. So you have a job. So even if you are a young mom and you're pregnant and you're living at home, what are your responsibilities at home? Are you clear on what your responsibilities are? And are you following through with those responsibilities that you have? You know, and as we're looking at our values, I want you to think about, what is it that you believe about money? A lot of us want to be rich, right? We want to live the glamorous life. You got it, the glamorous life. Okay, well, how glamorous of the life is it that you really want to live? Are you taking the steps to get there? And what is it that you believe about money? Because our beliefs about money, whether positive or negative, can shape our financial habits. Say, for example, if we believe money is scarce, we may not be more inclined to overspend or avoid investing. And if you're walking around saying that you're scarce, because let's see, I gave an example. My example was an example of scarce money. One, being of just about age old enough to go to work. Two, not really having accessibility to go to work, and then having children. Three is having kids in the mix of that. So now I have obstacles that I put in my way to getting to the money. But when I was getting to the money, all I kept thinking about was all the money that was going out and how to save. And because in my family, my father, his theory was he was going to take care of all of us, and he did a very good job doing so. If I must say so myself, he did a very well job doing so. However, when you start wanting to be independent, you want to spend your own money. What we lacked was the information on financial education, how to build money, how to save money, what to save money for, really mapping out the ideas. So because I lacked that coming up, and through my educational journey, as well as having intelligent family members, some business owners, some real estate investors, some, they drop gems along the way. So if you don't get it in your own home, hopefully you have someone in your family that is educated in finances that can help you or give you little tips, because aunties and uncles, they love to tell you what to do or give you tips that's going to make your life better. because the more they can make your life better, the better everybody in the family is going to be. So learning how to save, learning how to invest. The first roots of learning how to save was getting a job that offered benefits. You want a job that is going to offer, that's going to not only pay you for what it is that you do, your talents and skills that you have, but you want to also get something in return and be able to walk away with something just as much versus going to work and just have put in these years of work, right? So you want to be able to contribute to, whether it's a 401k, some type of Roth IRA. You want to begin starting a savings towards your retirement. Not always easy if your job doesn't offer that. So if your job doesn't offer that, what do? You check with your local financial institutions to see what they offer you, and what is the minimums that you need to begin starting with, to start building some type of foundation for your financial goals. So, and getting clear on my purpose, knowing that I got the education, I was able to find jobs, and even though the jobs were choppy, okay, so we're going to put here education, pardon my back. They were chopped up, we're going to put chopped. Because when it's inconsistent, you're working, but when you take advantage of some of the job's benefits, as far as 401ks, 405Bs, or whatever, they done changed the names of them now, of how they structured them different. But you're taking advantage of them. You're either part of Prudential Life or some type of organization that helps companies and their employees begin to create something for retirement. So if you're bouncing around, these benefits from your employer should travel with you. They should be able to roll over into another account at the other employer that you're going to be going to, or you just keep them within that company, and you can still continue to contribute to that, or just let it sit there. But you know that that's secure for when you need it, especially when you have an up and down, because like I share with you all, young mom, working, trying to do what it do, unreliable babysitters. People will say they're going to help you, but sometimes people need help themselves when they're trying to help you, and then it becomes burnout. And now our communication is not going well. We no longer have a mutual benefit in our relationship with each other, because a mutual benefit ensures that the relationship is mutually beneficial for both parties. Both parties should gain value and see advantages in working together, right? Now, if a disadvantage arises, then that means that you have to shift. You have to, navigate and come up with another way. So it doesn't mean that the relationship's over. It just means that they now need to be doing other things. They can no longer help you doing what you need to do. So that means you have to go back and think about get clear on your purpose and what your mission is that you're on. Are you trying to build a sustainable life? And what does that sustainable life look like? What is it going to require? And believe me, you can still work from home with your children. I tried it. However, back in those days, my mindset wasn't there. My mindset wasn't knowledgeable enough to know that if I would have continued and stayed focused, and the areas where I started with working from home opportunities, I probably would be way much more advanced now than I am now. But it doesn't matter when you begin or how you start. You just have to realize where your head is at, where your mind is at. Are you thinking like an employee? Because back then, that's all I could think about. Although I was earning little money from home and there was ways to increase it, because I was working from home and the type of work I was doing, I didn't feel like, because working from home really just now is starting to begin to get a little to where people recognize it. It's not really highly respected still, but we're working on that. But it is respectable to work from home, and you can earn a good living from working from home. But your mindset has to be in the right space, because guess what? There's nobody over top of you like when you go to a job. When you go to a job, you have a supervisor that you report to, you have a manager that's over top of the supervisors that's seeing everybody, and you have your co-workers. And then there's different levels in your co-workers as well. So having an employee mindset kind of drove me from the home-based business, because I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel that I had a position that was respectable to say I'm working from home and I could raise my children. And then when you tell people you work from home, you get a whole lot of different responses back and forth. People still will offer you a job, or they will tell you to go to work. So if you're not mentally ready to prepare with all that's going to come back from your decision of, I'm going to earn this money and I'm going to figure out how to do it no matter what, it takes time to grow in it. And like I was saying, as life changes come, different things happen. So as life went on, I eventually did. I worked different jobs, retail. I worked in facilities. I worked for different agencies, social service agencies, all over the journey, going and still constantly thinking like, what can I do to earn money without overexerting myself, having to work 2 jobs, not having time for the children, but still able to earn money to provide a roof over your head, food and clothes on their back. We're just talking about the basics. We're not talking about no Lamborghinis or Bugattis, none of that stuff. We're talking basics at that level where I was. And as time went on and I got more clear on my purpose, I gained more knowledge through education. Now, education isn't for everybody, and I get that. But you learn no matter what, whether you learn in a formal setting or a more casual setting. We're learning every day. If you surround yourself with the right people, you should be learning something new every day. That's why it's so important to do that. Now I was saying, okay, the mutual benefits. We're talking about clear person, working chops, and having clarity in our purpose, mutual benefits. And then, are we really having, when you're looking at the mutual benefits, what is the give and take? You need something and that person needs something as well. I gave you the example of me needing childcare, which means that my childcare provider had to be paid for watching my children. When that stopped, then I had to get them ready to go to a physical daycare provider. Now, with a physical daycare provider, sometimes they go on a pay scale, depending upon what you make. You could pay anywhere from 0 or more. And if your child is an infant versus if your child is like closer to school age. So you have to think of all these things, because that's a cost that you're going to have to factor in every month when you get a job. If you're paying your rent, transportation to get back and forth to work, whether you're going to be doing it on commute through public transportation, bus and or speed line, or are you going to be able to purchase a car? Now you have a car note and car insurance, unless you're lucky enough to buy the car outright, which is probably the best way to do it, to buy your car outright, because if you eliminate the car note and you just have the car insurance. I'm trying to think of all the things along the journey that impacted my life and impacted my finances. So the mutual benefits was definitely a part, because now you have to build and develop relationships with people. You have to begin to start building some type of trust, and you have to communicate. You got to have the hard conversations. You have to be able to inform others of, say, if your child's allergies or whatever, of who your child is, right? And what your daily routine is, how your child interacts and things of that nature. All these things helps the person that's going to be around your child for 8 hours in a day. Let's face it, we have our children for a couple hours in the evenings and in the mornings, and then the bulk of their day, if they're in childcare, they're with the childcare professionals and the workers most of the day. They're educators, right? So they need to know each other. So you have to develop a open relationship, be able to communicate with the teachers that are taking care of your child. And you have to establish some trust, because I don't think we're leaving our kids with people we don't trust, right? I know I didn't. I didn't trust nobody. So my children were always with somebody in the family. They didn't go out with friends and things of that nature. They were always, even to this day, they still kind of like keep their little small circle of family and friends that we have fostered for them. And then you're getting your education, you're looking at what job you have, what benefits does the job offer you, how much is the job paying you, and is that pay adequate enough for you to live off of without you having to work a second job or get another part-time job or find some little side hustle to do. And I know we all got little side hustles. We braid hair, we bake cakes, we bake pies. Holiday season is up, and I know the pies is popping, the cakes is popping. This is a good time of year where a lot of people make extra money selling things that they're good at making, whether it's creating pies, cakes. Some people sell dinners. Some people sew clothes for kids and elderly, or they knit blankets, which are all nice gift ideas, right? But how can you monetize off of those gift ideas, and what platforms would you choose to to supplement your income with these little arts and crafts and different talents and skills that you may have, because you want to become better. And now it's holiday time, so everybody's coming up with something that they do, whether it's selling oils or whatever, gift packages, the little, excuse me, what are they? My dad's favorite was always the salami meats, the different selections of different kosher meats and cheeses and crackers. They're always lovely. But it's all different kinds of ways to supplement your income. So on my journey and going to supplement my income, trying to figure out how I was going to do it, education was my first vehicle. That was the first vehicle that I got on. Through the education, I learned a little bit more and a little bit more every time about investing in myself, investing in ways to put my money in places where my money would be going for me, but I wouldn't have to think about that money. I just had to make sure that I earned enough to pay all the bills and still have a little to put somewhere else. Now, how many of you have checking, savings, as well as an investment account? Not many, right? Because I know it took me a long time to build up to that. For the longest time, I just had a checking account. And every time I tried to start a savings account, it would just be depleted. The savings account just would not work. It would just not get to where I needed to be, because I was always robbing Peter to pay Paul, because something was always coming up. I was only able to work within the 24 hours that was given to me, and working one job does not meet all the needs, not all the time, when you have children that you're raising and different things that they may get involved in. There's all different walks of life, but it began my brain to thinking of other ways of how to come over and get put myself in a situation to where I no longer would have to worry about where finances was going to come from, but I still have to worry about how I'm going to work and still progress to build the income that I want to build. And part of that is why I'm talking to you, because I have the pleasure of now being able to select who I want to choose and work with. It's not like filling out a job application and I guess it is. It is sort of like filling out a job application. We have an open enrollment for How to Win in Life and Win in Business right now. You can go to tammysmarket.com and you will see the enrollment application. We have a 7-day, well, I think it's 14 days free trial. We have a free trial run for the How to Win in Life and Win in Business. You get group coaching, you get one-on-one mentoring. You're going to, if you are a member already of our private Facebook groups, last week you got a full-fledged list of, well, not a list, but you've seen some presentations, because last week we mentioned talking about practicing presentations, and I shared some presentations with you around financial knowledge, financial investing, best ways to try to help anyone that is looking to better their lives through either a part-time, full-time, or you want to make it a hobby. It's all up to you. My hobby turned into a full-fledged business. And there's steps to make it get to that point. But if I want to bring someone else on and bring them into what it is that I'm doing in that group, you see that there's a lot of different things going on, right? So that means that you have to decide what is best for you, because I made choices based off of my life and what my future goals are. They may not necessarily be your future goals. You may only select one, or maybe you might select two. But still in all, you have to get on board it. You have to learn what it is that we do. And when a coach call is made, you have to be willing to take the actions. Now, for some reason, a coach call can be made, and I'm guilty of it too. Let's say that you get the coach call is to make 3 posts throughout that day that describes your business, or you invite or engage someone to start talking about your business. At least 3 posts throughout that day. That's the first task in the beginning. It's pretty easy in the beginning, not too bad. It gets easier as it goes along, but it only gets easier because you have to first learn and do. So I don't know if the learning is the being, because you have to be willing, able, and ready and committed to what it is that you're signing up for. And when you get that call, if you're willing, committed, and ready, you're going to make those 3 posts. You're going to make a motivational post, you're going to make an engagement post, and you're going to do an invite post to let people know that you are in business. Many of us don't do it. Well, I don't know what it is, and like I said, I'm at fault for it too. When I first signed up, I was like, oh my God. The first thing was, what are my coworkers going to think? What is everybody going to think about me? Am I going to be violating company policies from starting my business? These are all thoughts that go through people's mind. They're all normal thoughts, right? Hold that thought for one moment. I gotta check the cake. Wait. I don't want to burn it. I'm not burning that cake. All right. Sorry, 1 cake down. Yay, not burnt. Okay, so I was talking to you about when you first come in. You get these tasks and you freeze. You have all these thoughts. What about my job? Am I breaking policy? Am I going to get fired? Is somebody going to see what I'm doing? Are they going to report me? All the above. I know, because I've been through it. I experienced it. And it is a little nerve-wracking in the beginning, because you're not quite sure. You're not sure if this really is going to work for you. Is it helping you? Now, the services and things that you sign up for, they're helping you because you're seeing the results. within a 45-day time frame, you begin to start seeing some motion. You start to see some movement in things. You're learning how to better get your finances together. Should you be one like myself that, not bad credit, but it ain't all that good. And guess what? It still hinders you from going and moving forward if you're not at the number that is a good number. Let's say we all know that 750 and above is the best score you can have, and it will open doors for you. For some of you, some of you probably still won't have a door open for you, even at the 750, close to 800 mark. There'll still be some type of requirements or something based off of your zip code, where you live at geographically. All these things impact it. How you spend your money, how well are you at saving money, how long did it take you to get out of the debt that you got into, and how well are you being consistent, making on-time payments where you are right now, to continue to keep moving, to continue to build your life, even to invest in yourself. And if you're afraid to invest in yourself and you're investing in other things, that's just crazy. That's just crazy, because you are your greatest asset. It took me the first 2 years to realize that making a decision to invest in myself, getting clear on my purpose, because my purpose was to be able to supplement my income to help better take care of my family. To be able to do some things that I wanted to do since my family was transitioning. When you have little children, your life is one way. When they're teenagers, your life is one way. And then when you have grown adult children, there's 3 different shifts that you're going to go through depending upon where you are in the child raising perspective, I want to say, in a child raising perspective. And as I'm thinking of this, I'm coming home every night and I'm working. And when I tell you, when you get clear on your purpose as to what it is that you want for your life, trust me, you will get down and do what you need to do to begin working on that, especially when you begin to start seeing results. Now, what is the mutual benefits of going and investing in myself? The mutual benefit was I found pleasure and joy in working for myself before I went to work for anybody else's job. There were some things that I had to do every day, every morning, to get my business up and rolling, to make sure that it was rolling. And doing those things, and it gave me a self-esteem boost. It gave me confidence, because how good does it feel to know that, ooh, I did something for my own self. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to work for these folks over here, and I'm going to do some things for them. And hopefully I can impact and touch some lives along the way as well, and share what I'm doing. And it's either for them or not. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to join you, because guess what? Everybody don't belong here. You're not everyone's assignment. First of all, everybody's not going to resonate with you. And I already know that. I know everybody doesn't resonate with me. And that's okay. You don't have to resonate with me. But if my information helps you in some kind of way and it benefits you, I'm grateful for that. And if you don't mind liking, sharing, commenting, and sharing it out so that others can hear it if it's not for you. But you get to learn how to, it builds your self-esteem each time. So as I begin to grow and mature on the journey of becoming someone that invests in themselves, betting on me, every day I worked for myself before I went to work increased my confidence every day. And it also helped me change the paradigm in my mind when things get a little choppy, right? Because sometimes things get choppy. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're living an upside down, like a roller coaster life. It could mean you're working a very good job, you're earning your living, but guess what? Depending upon how your job is linked to politics and whatnot, you could be suffering from furlough days. You could be going to work every day and got to pick and choose what days you're gonna not come in and not get paid for, which we did back when Christie was the governor, right? We worked a whole, like 4 years, 4 furloughs, going to work, not getting paid for it. But we did it because we love what we do. We actually want to make a difference. So it didn't make a difference whether, at some point, somewhere around there, I guess they call themselves giving us back, but does it really all really add up? Sometimes it doesn't. We worked years without contracts that they're still working on right now, trying to create a fair, workplace where everyone is getting paid equally. But I'm gonna tell you something. All of that, if you're doing all of that, and you're not investing in yourself, you're putting your trust into an entity that really doesn't really care about you one way or the other. And I don't mean to say it like that. I'm not going to say that those that are in position and governmental positions don't really care. But if you look at the overall track history and you see, if you don't begin doing something for yourself, I don't know. I don't know where you're going to be, because things are progressing, technology's changing, and we have to do better. But if you're not financially stable, you're going to sink when things start shifting. So that's why I'm here to help you to first identify who you are. Who are you? What are your morals, values, the ethics in which you work by? Because that's going to take place, because the things that you rank out of these 13 questions of your higher values, those are the things that you're going to operate from, and you're going to do it whether you're not going to find it challenging at all. You're just going to go on and do it because it's what you love, it's what you value, it's what you put as priority. And that's why I always say your life is serious business, and only you can live it. And you got to start living it today. Building wealth over time takes time. It's compound actions, compound contributions that you put in to reap the rewards later. But you have to go in it with a long-term plan. If you're 25 today, you don't need the retirement account, but you want to start working on your retirement account. If you're freshly new to college, if you are a freshman in college this year, you're going to school, you're probably working some kind of part-time job or a full-time job around your school hours. When you get paid, I behoove you and I encourage you to begin putting some money up. I don't care if it's $25 every 2 weeks or every week, however you get paid. Put that $25 up into something. Find a credit union to start an account, savings account, Christmas club, vacation club, mutual fund account. If you have $1,000, you can start that. Certificate of deposit, that's $500. You can start that. Put it over there. Forget about it. Just contribute. Make sure that you can, because we got electronic stuff now, so you can contribute to it every week or every so often week. And if it's a week that comes up where things are a little bit bombarded and you can't contribute, fine. But you know that you have already began the journey of storing. I like to call it Who Moved My Cheese. That was my favorite book. I still love it to this day. If you get a chance to read Who's Moved My Cheese, please do. It's a very thin book. It's good, easy read, no problem. But it talks about how the mouse had the cheese in different locations. Some locations, the cheese went bad. Some locations, the cheese was missing. Some locations, they still had some savings, but not as much as they thought. So I want you to be aware of where you are financially. Where are you trying to go? What life are you really trying to live? Are you really trying to work for 50, 60 years of your life and then retire? I'm not. My aunt served honorably her job at the Board of Social Services. She retired, I think it was that August We didn't even get a chance to celebrate the retirement or anything, because God had a whole nother plan for her. God took her right out of here. A wide eye opener for me. So I had to start thinking about what it was that I really wanted to do. And I want you to think about it too. I want you to go back and I want you to look at your values. What are your highest values? What are the things that are lowest on your values? Because all those things work hand in hand, because there's some things on your higher values that you don't mind doing and you will do it anyway. But then what are those things on your lower values that you got to really push yourself to do? And do you have the skills to push yourself? Or do you need somebody to come and be your cheerleading squad and do it for you? Because if you need a cheerleading squad, everybody's not going to cheer for you. You better become your best damn cheerleader that you can be. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. It doesn't mean that they don't support you, but they're also living their own lives and they cheering their own selves on. So you have to learn how to cheer yourself. You got to learn how to drive yourself, because this is your life. You get one. You got to live it. The life that you're living right now today, is it the life that you want for yourself? And if it's not, what steps are you going to do? Where do you begin? To begin taking the steps to put yourself in a better situation. Because our mission is to help 84 million people to become more financially educated around their finances, educated in finances, educated in budgeting, managing your money better, investors, opportunities, putting yourself in a better situation should you need a loan, or maybe put yourself in a better situation for that car that you're driving right now that you might be paying high interest on. If you get the knowledge that you need and get the tools and the systems that you need that will work for you, it can lower that, and then you can write the company and ask them for a lower interest rate, which will put you in a better standing and make your payment lower. But there's steps to it. And you have to have trust, right? We talked about clarity of purpose. And if I'm all over the place, just tell me I'm all over the place, but sometimes I am. Not perfect, not at all. But getting the information out, that's what I want to do. We talk about clarity of purpose. We talk about mutual benefits. What are you getting and what are you giving back? Even if you're going to work every day. What are you giving and what are you giving back? What's the communication? Are you able to verbalize your wants, your needs, your desires? Are you able to verbalize what your boundaries, what you're going to stand for and what you're going to stand against? Are you able to do it if you're afraid? Are you able to do it should you be the only one standing alone by yourself? All these things, right? Didn't think life was so hard, but it's a lot of things about life we don't know, but we learn as we go along. Establishing trust. Do you trust yourself enough to get up and show up for you? Do you trust yourself enough to go after what it is that you need to make your life better? What is it in your life that you want to make better or become better in? And do you trust yourself enough to go after it and stick to it? Because some of us, we start out real good. And we go on a roll, but we don't be consistent. We don't stay. We do not stay on it. And then next thing you know, now we got another problem. Now something else will happen. Now we need help over here or you need help over there. Then you get frustrated when you ask people to help you. But then what are you doing to help yourself? Because people are looking at that. They want to see, what are you doing? And why is it that you're having these situations? And if you're having situations that occur 2-3 times over let's say maybe a 6-month period, you might want to look at how your finances are. Are you able to live where you are? You might need to think of moving someplace that's a little bit more above and within your means. And mind you, I know how hard and difficult it is because the Section 8 list is long as heck. HUD housing is available, but there's a list for that too. So when you're trying to go to low income rate, it's not the low income lane. It's not always as easy as you think it's going to be. So you may have to be looking elsewhere. So low income is a good hand up, but it's not a handout. The rules have changed as well. You can no longer have subsidized housing for periods, years and years and years. No, subsidized housing has now changed and is now requiring you, they're giving you a 5-year minimum to begin to establish yourself, getting a job, and being able to move yourself from the low income to regular income and being able to maintain and manage the full rent. But if you don't have any knowledge about finances, you don't have any knowledge about how to best budget your money, manage your money, what's the best things to invest in, ways that you can save and see your savings. But the first thing is, if you don't know your total number of assets and your total number of liabilities, you darn sure don't know your total net worth value. And I believe I shared that with you guys, right? The first time that I went through the whole total number of assets, total number of liabilities, and the total, total net worth, right? Came out the total net worth was $132 and some change. I'm not mad. That's where I'm starting at. So, hey, you got to build from there, right? At least I know where I'm at. Do you know where you're at? Do you have a plan to move you forward? And what is that plan? And do you trust yourself to go forth with it and really make it work to your benefit? We talk about trust, right? Trusting yourself. Now, let's look at this shared value. Shared value. So your shared value aligns on your core values. That's why we're talking about your values, guys. Your core values and principles. When your values are synced, it's easier to navigate challenges and make decisions that benefit everyone involved, right? So your shared value is what? The fact you're the key component. You're the key component. It's you. Then you have your family. Then if you have a job, you got your coworkers. If you have community groups and or organizations that you're a part of. You're sharing the value, right? You guys all have a core values that link together, that brings you all together in order to do what it is that you do. Your family's relying on you to go to work to bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan and feed the kids and all that. And if you have two, so now you got two people doing it. And even in today's world, having two can still be challenging. Coworkers, when you go to work, they're counting on you to come in to help get the day's assignment done. If you don't show up to work, then now we're down one person, right? And now we're scrambling, trying to make up and pick up the pace for when you're out or if you're late. All of these things count. Same thing with groups and organizations, but you have a core value. Most people go to work every day. Why? What's their core value? To get paid. They want to get paid at the end of their 2 weeks. They want the money to go home and pay their bills and do whatever they do with it, right? Same thing with your groups and organizations. They have a core value, a mission in which they're operating on, and whether it is to help more families, give support to those that are navigating through life challenges, domestic violence, substance abuse. All these things get in the way and can mess up our finances, right? It definitely mess up with our head and have us thinking in a way that we're not. And sometimes we need these groups and organizations to help us to begin to start believing in ourselves. Not only that, if you're not a member of the group, maybe you're a contributor. to the group. Maybe you volunteer, or maybe you donate monetary funds. Maybe you donate monetary funds towards the thing. Hold on one moment. Yeah, just have a seat. Or maybe you're doing, okay, my apologies. I know, a lot of distractions, things happen, but life goes on. Groups and organizations, like I said, you either are a part of it, or maybe you're a contributor, you're sending a donation, you're volunteering your time, or depending upon what the organization's needs and wants are, you're helping in that some capacity in that way. So, but there's a core value. You tie the value even to the job that you work and the groups and organizations that you're in. You have a core value of your family that's linking you all together. And then you got to look at how flexible are you? Are you adaptable? And are you open to change? Because everybody's not open to change. Although, some people say my life is fine just the way it is, and that's cool. If that's you, cool. I'm sorry, my life wasn't fine the way it was. And I thought I had, so to speak, what you call pretty good job for the most part. I was able to do things, but I still struggled. And I had to make a decision. Because what happens when you run up out of your PTO time? What happens when you use up all your vacation and sick time? You have no more time. So you're either working and not getting paid, or you're coming up short somewhere. And always by this time of the year, I always was short. And that was my challenge when I worked, to not run out of time to have it. But I always came up short. So coming up short made me look for other, it made me come up with other ideas as to how I could find other opportunities that was gonna allow me to work on my own schedule, work at my own pace, and to build a business that I can now share with others. So having the ability to pivot when necessary can strengthen your relationships with your family, your co-workers, your groups and organizations, and create a dynamic environment. So we need all of these here in order to be able to even begin our journey. So, excuse me, we're 11 minutes over, and I've really tried really hard not to keep you longer than an hour, but I know I was kind of slow getting to you today. I just want to ask you, are you ready to change your life? Where do you want to change your life at? What area? This may take you some time, so I'll come back to you again later on in this week so we can have further discussion. I don't know what happened to my link for us to all be meeting in Webinar Jam, but some kind of way I must have did something wrong. I told you guys I'm learning the technology. So as I'm getting better and learning the technology, this week may be a little not less technology because it's the birthday week. Tomorrow I'll turn 55 years old. So I'm grateful that God blessed me to be here another year, despite all the storms that have gone in my life, but I'm still here. And I'm here to help those that are interested in helping themselves. Help me help you to get to where it is that you want to go. Help you to navigate through the channels that some things I might have gone through myself and had to overcome to get to where I am to even speak to you now. The only limit is the limit that you set yourself. It doesn't matter where you're from, it's all about where you're at. And if you can begin to start presenting ideas in your head, working out ways of how you can make your life better and not feed into that negative part of our mind, because we got a conscious and unconscious mind. And sometimes they kind of do a little dance with each other, and we got to kind of reinforce those things to say that I can have it. I am worthy. I am capable of doing what I need to do in order to get what I want to get. And will someone always be there to cheer you on? I can cheer myself on. You can cheer yourself on. We can cheer one another on. But if you are looking for an opportunity and you're expecting someone else to do the work for you, that's where you're probably not going to like me too much, because I can't do it for you. I can share the framework in which I've done everything that I've done up until this point. I can give you tips of how to overcome different challenges when things should arise. I can even share with you some of the secrets that I learned along the way that helped me change my mindset to the point to where it's like now there's no brakes. We're all go, it's all gas, because now I know that all things are possible through Christ who strengthens me. But all things are possible because you know why? I can do them just like you can. But you got to want to do it yourself. You got to want to be better. I want it better so much that along the journey, I've lost some very precious things that I'm never going to get back, and no amount of money ever is going to replace it. But the love and respect, the characters, their purpose in their life means something to me. So we're going to get rich or die trying. So if you want to join us, come on in and join us. Tonight we have a wealth talk overview. It's products and services in the financial literacy education field. So if you're interested and you want to come in and you want to hear what we're talking about, let me know and I will definitely invite you in. If you are a member of our private Facebook groups, we have Win in Life and Business, Love What You Do. We have Gain Financial Literacy and Win in Life. We have Build with Shopify and Win in Life. If you're a member of any of those groups, you've probably seen me doing the presentations inside of there, because I try to make it easy for those that are under my umbrella, so to speak. I'm not going to say under me, because where I'm at, we're running together. We're doing this together, because I'm offering a hand up. I'm going to help pull you up to get you where you need to be. But guess what? As we're going along, there might be someone else that's reaching down to help pull you up too. Because you're going to begin to get visions for your own life. You're going to begin to start formulating creative ideas about your own life and where it is that you want to go, and what your idea of what it is, the entity that you want to formulate. And because life is filled with choices, and what I like may not be what you like, you could be creating something totally different. But guess what? I'm going to come and I'm going to support you in what it is that you do. Because together is the only way we're going to make it. This is the only way. So we're going to come back again, and we're going to look a little bit harder at our excuse me. We're going to look a little bit more into our beliefs about money. We're going to be looking at our financial goals. We're going to be looking at what is our level of risk taking. And the most important part is we're going to be looking at the money mindset. Do you have a money mindset? And what type of money mindset do you have? And how is it impacting your life? So with that being said, I just want to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. I've taken about 18 minutes over our lunch break. Oh, thank you. Again, I'm Tia Rogers. You're take care of your health, save, invest, and grow your money business startup mentor. We are looking for quality people to join our team. Someone that is ready to drive their own life, to be the star of your own show. We're going to provide you everything that you need to get you up and started. You're going to work with me one-on-one for 90 days to help you really work through any challenges and problems that you have after that. After those 90 days, then you can schedule a call with me to meet with me one-on-one, or holler at me in the groups. You know, I'm around, I'm available, I'm not invincible. I'm here to help offer a hand up, because as we're going into 2024, let's start changing the narratives in our families. Let's start building each other up. Let's get our finances together. Let's start coming together and investing in some things that is going to build a legacy for our family. Let's break the cycle of poverty. I don't know, I can't do it by myself. I try, I do my part, but if all of us do our own little part, then how much more better will the world be? So with that being said, remember that you are a winner from the time you were conceived in your mother's womb. You're born with all that you need inside of you to make your life a success. And go out here and be awesome, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to thank you for your time this morning. I want to thank you for the interruptions, going to check on the cake, answering the door. It's called work from home. And sometimes I can eliminate some distractions, but there's some distractions I cannot eliminate in today, since I'm waiting for the 2020 survival package to come. I'm really excited. So we're going to begin to make these baskets and send them out to families. And we hope that we touch these families and we help these families to become better, or at least give them a little bit of less worry about what they need to get for at least this month or into next month. Maybe we can save them 2 months and save them a couple dollars on some items that they won't have to buy for their home. So with that being said, have a wonderful, blessed, amazing day. Don't forget to go and take the value determinations process test. If you're interested in how to learn how to win in life and win in business, feel free. Visit us at tammys.com, tammysmarket.com, or tammys.shop, tammysworld.com, to see what we all have going on, ladies and gentlemen, to see what best fits you. And I don't want to confuse anybody, because I'm not confused. I'm pretty much straight now. It took me a long time to narrow it down and break it down to be able to get it to you in the chunks that I'm giving it to you. So practice makes perfect. But I'm here to let you know that anything's possible. You have to first make a decision. Just like I made a decision long ago that I was not going to be homeless anymore with my children, that I was going to figure out what it is that I need to do to make a better life. And God blessed me to do just that. And now he's blessed me to be able to share those skills and knowledge and tools with others. So go out here and make a difference, make an impact, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you guys on the other side. See you tonight at 8 p.m. for Wealth Talk, for all those that may be interested. All right. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful, blessed, amazing day.